context now into what you've just seen. Last year, the SABC COO, initiated a project to accelerate the empowerment of women and people with disabilities into strategic positions within the public broadcaster. Last year, he appointed women as the head of TV news, radio news, sports, among others. And you'll remember we did have that interview last year. Now we have the appointment of yet another strong, dynamic and capable woman to a key position. Let's welcome Nomsa Philiso and Anton Haynes. They are the incoming and the outgoing Group Executive Commercial Enterprises, respectively. Good morning to you and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Thank you. Anton, I'm going to start with you. We saw that clip a moment or two ago where Mr. Motsoeneng described you as a very special person. It looks like you and him had a very interesting relationship. Will you let us in on that?
Yes, indeed. It's a great pleasure to have worked with a person like Mr. Motsoeneng. I've also had the pleasure to work with many other CEOs in the SABC. So yes, it's been a journey and a very, very exciting journey in the SABC.
Now, let's talk a little bit about you, Nomsa. Since 2011, the SABC and the COO came up with a turnaround strategy to try and stabilize the SABC financially. How successful has that strategy been, in your opinion?
Thank you, Ayanda. I think it has been extremely successful if you look back at where we were when Anton and myself joined Commercial Enterprise. At the time, we were cash-strapped. We had a lot of issues. We had to service the bank guarantee and the loan that we had. So, in my view, Commercial Enterprise has really done well in the past 5 years because, as you would know, that we are in the cash positive. And yes, we're bringing in the revenue.
And that smooth transfer is very important. I see you're also color-coded, so I can see you're of one mind. But yeah. Anton, you're still around for a little bit longer just to make sure that everything is transferred smoothly. Like I said, you've been around at the SABC for 35 years. What sort of advice do you have for Nomsa?
Yes, indeed. I think it's very important to have successes and to groom successes. So I think that's one of the responsibilities of leaders in any organization, to make sure that we develop and nurture talent. In a commercial environment, it's obviously very, very important that we retain the investor confidence in the SABC. As you might know, the SABC is funded primarily by commercial funding, more than 80%, and the other is obviously TV license revenue and a very small element of government grants. So continuity in the sales environment, in the commercial environment, is of paramount importance, and hence the decision that there will be a smooth transition between myself and Nomsa.
People have varying views of the SABC. Some who just switch on the TV think all there is just the faces on television and they don't know about the behind the scenes. And then others who do perhaps know a little bit about what happens behind the scenes would think, SABC will always get government funding, etc., etc. They don't really care much about finances, etc. But how important is this portfolio to the SABC?
Well, this portfolio really is, in essence, is a cornerstone to the sustainability of the SABC. So 80% of our revenue comes from, is generated via commercial enterprise and funding from commercial entities. So it's very important that we keep our eyes on the ball and to make sure that the advertisers are happy and they believe in our product, because we have to give them value. It's not so much about, we're just going to throw money at the SABC. They want to see value. They want us to see us giving them a little bit more than just a 30-second ad. They want to see good content. They want to see good propositions all around. So it's very important that they also believe in the product that we deliver.
And of course, that's a very important income generating revenue that we have there. But what sort of plans do you have in place going into this?
Fortunately for me, I've been part of the team, and we have got, at any given time, a 3-year outlook in terms of what it is that we want to achieve. This year is a bit steep for us because the economy is a bit depressed, and last year was very difficult for the advertising industry. Revenues are down, and people are cutting budgets because the economy is what it is. So we're going into this fiscal with very, very, very tight budgets in terms of targets. So yeah, it's a tough one, but I've got a team that has been working consistently, and we're hoping to see the strategy implementation through.
And Anton, what are you going to do? I said this earlier to you that you're way too young to be taking retirement, but what sort of ventures are you looking forward to in this next chapter of your life?
Well, the next chapter is an important chapter, so I will be staying on at the SABC as a commercial advisor to assist in the commercial enterprises division, but also to look at other commercial ventures at the SABC. As I said earlier on, at the SABC, we have all the radio stations and all the television platforms to generate revenue from, and we have to exploit all of those. And we're obviously competing in a highly, highly competitive environment, for audiences and revenue. So I will remain with the SABC for some time.
Of course, especially with DTT coming in here, so those expertise will be required. But speaking of expertise, as short as possible, we have run out of time. But this is a key appointment of someone, like I said, who's very capable. But as a woman, some may look from the outside in saying, it's just an employment equity move, that there's no content or capacity. But you have been, part of the team for a long while here. As a woman in this position, do you feel the need to go over and above the call of duty to prove yourself? Are you entering, do you think, on a perceptual deficit?
Look, unfortunately, the perceptions will always be there because, it's a woman and all of that, and there'll always be talk. But what I do have confidence in is that the EXCO, or the executive directors of the SABC, have been very decisive in appointing people that are skilled, people that are capable. And I think if you look at all of us that have been appointed in recent time, we've got a track record to show in terms of, we just didn't fall off a tree. So we've got our resumes to show in terms of the experience that we have. I've been with the SABC for 20 years, so I've come through the ranks and I understand the operations, how they work, in the different platforms. So yes, if it so happens that I'm a beneficiary of being a woman, so be it, but I don't believe that's only that.
Thank you so very much for that update, and I can see your colleague also agreeing there, saying, she's the woman for the job. All right, let's leave it there, at least for now. Sports off next. Stay with us.